Hi friends, welcome to my channel. So today I've got an interesting, fun book which I will talk about and review. So this book is Lyrics by Sameer. This is the story behind some of the best songs of the 90s. So this book I enjoyed a lot because I love 90s Hindi film music. So let's get started on the book. Sameer Anjan, as people who know Hindi music would know, that he is a well-known lyricist, and he was very active from late 80s to till recently, in fact, till 2015-16. And for the 90s, that was his prime time when he wrote lyrics for a series of very hit songs. So this book is about 50 of the songs, which are chart-busting songs. So Sameer tells us about how those songs were created. So this is a very fun behind-the-scenes look at some of the songs which people have loved. I personally have uh, affection for the music from the 90s. There is a bit of nostalgia, and I know a lot of people who love 90s film music. It brings back memories of those innocent times. It brings back memories of pre-internet days. So let's get started. So Sameer worked a lot with Nadeem Shravan. So if you were to look at Hindi film industry, so 90s was an interesting time. From late 80s onwards, there was a period when T Series, a music label, was getting into production. They were releasing a lot of non-film music, and they were also releasing film soundtracks. And then later in the 90s, there were other labels like Venus and Tips. And this was a time when music was sold in the form of audio cassette. In fact, it may seem odd to today's generation when you can stream any song from YouTube or Spotify whenever you feel like. But back then, you had to actually buy an audio cassette and put it in the audio recorder, tape recorder, and listen to the songs. So there was a ritual around it, and it obviously, when you look back, you feel nostalgic about those times. So coming back to the 90s, Nadeem Shravan and Sameer achieved fame through this movie Ashiki, which came in 1990. Ashiki was a movie that was not meant to be produced. It was not a movie. What had happened was that Gulshan Kumar, the head of T Series at that time, had commissioned a non-film music album from Nadeem Shravan, in which Nadeem Shravan collaborated with Sameer, and they created very ghazal-like music, which they thought would become popular at that time. And these songs were played to Gulshan Kumar, who loved those songs. At that time, the title of the album was Chahat. So, if you listen to Ashki songs even now, you will find that a lot of songs have Chahat as a keyword. So what happened was that Gulshan Kumar, after initially promising that he'll make a film and put these songs in the film, he decided to drop the idea. He was not finding an interesting storyline, and he got busy with other things. And this disappointed both Sameer Anjan, and Nadeem Shravan. And as luck would have it, they tried their best to somehow convince Gulshan Kumar to make a film. And at that time, Mahesh Bhatt was a very successful producer, and he met Gulshan Kumar. He heard the songs, and he told Gulshan Kumar that, look, I'll make a film, I'll direct it, and this would be a very hit movie. You leave it to me. And he went back and he developed a story idea. And then he told Nadeem Shravan and Sameer that the title I have in mind is Ashki. So then the title song was written and recorded, and that is how, if you listen to the songs, only the title song has got Ashki in it. Other songs have got the hook of Chahat. Anyway, to cut a long story short, Rahul Roy and Anu Agarwal were chosen as the leads. The film was made and it was a huge success. The music was a chartbuster, and it set Nadeem Shravan and Sameer on a very successful journey through the 90s. So that story is recounted here. Then you move to a very hit song Dil, Mujhe Neend Na Aaye, Amir Khan and Madhuri, which again Sameer wrote. Nadeem Shravan, no, that was composed by Anand Milind, not Nadeem Shravan. And then you have Sajan, which was a big hit. And interestingly, again, Sajan was a movie which the producer at that time, Sudhakar Bukade, had signed up Lakshmikant Parallel. And the initial few recordings were done, one song was composed. It just so happened that one day when the producer and Sameer went to meet um, Lakshmikant Parallel, they were sitting in a music session and Subhash Ghai came and Lakshmikant Parallel ignored Sudhakar Bukade. Sudhakar Bukade got very upset. He says, look, I will not work with Lakshmikant Parallel. And he asked Sameer, would you recommend someone? Sameer recommended Nadeem Shravan and they met the same evening. And next day, Nadeem Shravan played some tunes for Sudhakar Bukade. Interesting thing about Nadeem Shravan is that in the 80s when they were struggling, they had recorded a whole lot of tunes. They had a bank of probably more than 1000 tunes. So they were not really composing in the 90s. They were just kind of, looking at their bank of tunes and whichever situation was appropriate, they will bring out that tune. So Sudhakar Bukade was happy and they said, okay, let's start work. And Sajan movie was made. Interestingly, the movie was completed, the shooting was done, the print was ready to be released. And then one day, Sameer and Nadeem Shravan were sitting in a restaurant, they were eating. And Sameer had this thing that this movie called Sajan, there is no title track, and he wanted a title track. So a line came to his mind, देखा है पहली बार साजन की आंखों में प्यार. And he told this line to Nadeem Shravan. They were sitting and eating in a restaurant. And immediately Nadeem Shravan got excited and they started playing the tune on the restaurant table like a tabla. And the entire song was composed in one day. And when they gave the song, this idea to the director Lawrence D'Souza and the producer, they said nothing doing. We have made the film, it's looking good, we are releasing it. Nadeem Shravan and Sameer were very keen on getting the song out. So they said, okay, let's do one thing. We will make Madhuri and Salman Khan listen to this. If they say no, we take no. But if they say yes, then let's have the song in the movie. So the song was played to Salman and Madhuri, and it was around evening 5:36. They loved the song, and Salman Khan immediately said that let's shoot it tomorrow in Muti, and so they had to compose the song through the night, finished version. They had to brief the choreographer through the night to get the dance moves, and next day, in just one day, they shot the title song and the movie released. The movie was a big hit, all of us know that, and the song became a chartbuster and people to this day remember it. So that was another interesting story in the book, and there are many such stories. I mean, I can go on and on. But coming back to the music scene in the 90s, the reason why people like me feel nostalgic about the Hindi film music of the 90s was the entire ritual of going out and buying a cassette, coming back, listening to your favorite song, playing it again and again on a tape recorder, because there was no streaming, there was no internet, and yeah, that was the only way you could listen to the music. And then there was MTV, which had come by the mid 90s, and they would have some programs devoted to new film music. But that was not really much. That actually took off in the 2000s, not in the 90s. So there are a lot of stories in this book about uh, songs, behind the scenes of the songs, like Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. Initially, Karan Johar had got Javed Akhtar as a lyricist, and then they really had a falling out. They were not in tune with each other, and at the last minute, at the suggestion of Jatin Lalit, Sameer was roped in, and Sameer came in and he actually wrote a song because he thought Javed Akhtar, and he started writing in very chaste Urdu because he wanted to mimic Javed Akhtar. And he actually took the title track to Karan Johar, and Karan Johar told him that, look, Sameer, I got you in because of who you are. You are trying to be Javed Akhtar here, and it doesn't work. Just write it the way you would normally write. Write it the way a college student would understand. And then Sameer went back and he wrote very simple lines. Tum paas aaye, you muskuraye. And that was a chartbuster. So Samir had this knack of writing very simple, direct lyrics, devoid of ornamented Urdu language, and that worked in the 90s. So there were a lot of whole lot of series of Govinda films on which he did a lot of interesting work, and then there are lots of other songs which are featured in this, which you would probably, I would want you to discover it for yourself. It's a thin book, not really very heavy. It's a light reading, just 50 songs behind the scenes, and good fun. And Sameer, by the way, those who may not know this, Sameer, name is Sameer Anjan, and he is son of a very famous lyricist of the yesteryears, Anjan, who worked in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. In fact, till 90s he was working. And Anjan's real name is Lalji Pandey, and he's from Varanasi. So, Anjan actually was a poet also. In fact, Sameer also considers himself a poet at heart, and he thinks that a lot of his songs, even if they are simple, they bring out emotions which are poetic. So yeah, I mean, I think I like the fact that nowadays in Indian publishing there are books about every interest. So I would recommend this little book to everyone who loves Hindi film music of the 90s, and it's not very expensive. Like it's just for like 300 bucks. I would recommend that please buy it. Relive the nostalgia of the 90s. It's great fun, and I had a blast. I mean, there are so many stories I can talk about, and I wish I could do a longish podcast about behind the scenes of some of the favorite songs of mine from the 90s. But anyway, good fun reading this, and thank you for watching my channel. And I promise I'll be posting a lot more. And Hindi films are something which interests me a lot. So I would be picking up books which talk about Hindi films, and you can expect more from me on Hindi films, industries, musical heritage, and history. So thank you very much, and have a lovely day.